Christopher Bow states that stage technology, machinery, and special effects have always been a part of the experience of theatre and performance. Often they have been used as a means to an end, to shift and illuminate scenery, or to simulate events and actions that cannot easily be presented in a performance, explosions, catastrophes, and meteorology, for example. But also, technologies have frequently been used as an end in themselves, where the gasp of awe and amazement in their operation has been a significant aspect of the experience of performance. Dramaturgical power and efficacy may also reside in this technology. A study of the genealogy of digital media and theatre includes the pioneering activities of a diverse group of artists, scientists, poets, musicians, and theorists, beginning from the rituals of Greek theatre. Theatre has always used the cutting-edge technology of the time to enhance the spectacle of productions. From the early Deus Ex Machina to the guild-produced medieval pageant wagons to the innovation of perspective paintings and mechanical devices on Italian 16th century sets, to the introduction of gas and later electric and lighting effects, to the modern use of computer to control lighting, sound, and set changes, technology has been used in ways that have created incredible visual and auditory effects. However, my interest within this trail is on work that begins to utilize technology at the very core of the aesthetic and meaning of the work. Such experimentation of the form can arguably be said to have begun in earnest with the groundbreaking work of Richard Wagner in the 19th century and his notion of the Gesamtkunstwerk, or total artwork. Wagner's vision, expressed in writings such as The Artwork of the Future in 1849, was the creative unification of multiple art forms: theatre, music, singing, dance, dramatic poetry, design, lighting, and visual art. Wagner's conception is central to the lineage of digital performance, both in its advocacy for theatrical spectacle and in the paradigm of convergence that unites the total artwork with contemporary understandings of the modern computer as a meta-medium that unifies all media, text, image, sound, video, and so on, within a single interface. Wagner's totalizing vision of theatre had a profound impact on 20th century performance. Theatre historian J.L. Stein considers Wagner to be the seminal influence on experimental theatre. Wagner's work had an effect on many subsequent theories and practices in the 20th century. Hugo Ball's Cabaret Voltaire to the theories of Anton Artaud to the designs for immersive multimedia theatres and performances conceived by the German Bauhaus artists. The Bauhaus was an interdisciplinary school in Germany during the years between the First and Second World Wars. This time period is known as the Weimar era, which has been noticed as a period of experimentation. The architect Walter Gropius founded and directed the Bauhaus in 1919. Their first public exhibition was entitled Art and Technology. The objective of the school was to reinvigorate the arts, and through this renewal in art to rejuvenate society. The school worked to combine both the spectacle of technology on stage with reflexive qualities, as well as the theoretical work they produced on the topic of theatre and technology. In the years since World War II, scientists have pursued personal computing and human-computer activity as vehicles for transforming consciousness, extending memory, increasing knowledge, amplifying intellect, and enhancing creativity. The idealistic and ideological aspirations of both scientists and artists of the period resulted in a new medium that emphasizes individual choice, free association, and personal expression. The concepts and philosophies seen here continued to have impact in the field of digital media and performance as the capabilities of technology grew, as did its influence on society. 20th century artists have continued the effort to heighten the viewer's experience of art by integrating traditionally separate disciplines into single works. Modern experiences, many of these artists believe, could only be evoked through an art that contained within itself the complete range of perception. Old-fashioned forms limited to words on a page, paint on canvas, or music from an instrument were considered inadequate for capturing the speed, energy, and contradictions of contemporary life. In the 1916 manifesto, The Future is Cinema, F.T. Marianetti and his revolutionary cohorts declared film to be the supreme art because it embraced all other art forms through the use of the then new media technology. Only cinema, they claimed, had a totalizing effect on human consciousness. Futurism emerged between 1909 and 1920 prior to constructivism, modernism, and the avant-garde work of the 20th century, although more significance is often put on these later works in terms of their contribution to the movement. It is not difficult to see the influence of the practice as it is today in ideals and philosophies of art and film movements such as Dadaism, Surrealism, and Expressionism. These movements were central to the developing of the aesthetic and digital philosophies of digital media in the theatre. Elements of futurism can still be seen in contemporary digital media performance, including parallel action, photodynamism, luminoscenography and virtual actors, synthetic theatre and the cult of the machine. The performance work of John Cage was a significant catalyst in the continuing breakdown of traditional boundaries between artistic disciplines after World War II. In the late 1940s, during a residency at Black Mountain College, Cage organised a series of events that combined his interest in collaborative performance with his use of intermediacy. Cage devised theatrical experiments that furthered the dissolution of borders between the arts. He was particularly attracted to aesthetic methods that opened the door to greater participation of the audience, especially if these methods encouraged a heightened awareness of subjective experience. Among notable others experimenting in this area were the likes of Erwin Piscator and Joseph Svoboda. Alan Capro, Dick Higgins, and Nam June Paik were among those most prominent of the artists who, inspired by Cage, developed non-traditional performance techniques that challenged accepted notions of form, categorization, and composition, leading to the emergence of genres such as the happenings, electronic theatre, performance art, and interactive installations. Through the 20th century, there are numerous examples of live performance finding innovative ways to integrate film into productions. Dixon states that the theatre became more cinematic in conception, particularly in the latter half of the century. Playwriting saw increasing use of short scenes, cross-cut parallel action, and the use of flashbacks and dramatic time shifts, while theatre staging drew inspiration from the cinema, increasingly employing neo-cinematic devices such as the introduction of incidental music and the use of lighting to create sharp montage or gentle dissolve effects. This aimed to intensify the theatrical experience and to approximate cinema's absolute control of space and time and the flow and location of the audience's attention. In this climate, artists became increasingly interested in integrating technology into their work. While technology clearly played a significant role in the 20th century arts, such as photography, film, and video, as well as various fine art genres, it was not until Bell Lab scientist Billy Kluver placed the potential of advanced engineering into the hands of artists in New York that integrated works of art and technology began to flourish. Kluver convinced the notion of equal collaboration between artist and engineer. Dixon asserts that the 90s were a golden era of experimentation in digital media and performance. With the dot-com boom in the 1990s, telematic artists including Roy Ascott began to develop greater significance. Experimental theatre groups that dealt with the form emerged, such as the Worcester Group, George Coates Performance Works, and the Gertrude Stein Repertory Theatre. Many of these companies sought out partnerships with technology companies to push the boundaries further. Important work in the 1990s includes Julie Martin's virtual reality theatre presented at the Sydney Opera House, featuring the first hybrid human-digital
Researchers such as Claudio Pananis
at MIT, David Saltz of the Interactive Performance Laboratory at the University of Georgia, and Mark Reaney, head of the virtual reality lab at the University of Kansas, as well as multiple significant dance technology partnerships. These works included the use of motion capture, 3D stereoscopic animation, and virtual reality. Lev Manovic is a prolific voice in contemporary digital media performance. He suggests that the technology itself are the works of art. For example, he feels programs such as GarageBand and iMovie are in fact themselves works of art. This comes from postmodern ideas that every piece of art is in some way recycled. Dixon disagrees with this idea, however, and believes that genuinely new work is being created, and believes that Manovic and other postmodern writers' emphasis on technology for technology's sake limits ideas of the form. I align my own philosophies of digital media dramaturgy with Dixon, as I believe the dramaturgy of a piece is at its strongest when there is a clear and purposeful bridge between the technology and the central themes of the work itself. Much contemporary theatre in some way works with or responds to digital technologies in increasingly inventive and varied ways. Companies such as Punch Drunk, Belt Up, Dream Think Speak, and Blast Theory have pushed the form to new levels. These practitioners in particular have expanded the boundaries of theatre by incorporating video games into their work. These works give credence to Dixon's assertion that we can see video games as the most popular theatre of this age. Work has expanded to utilise technology in various innovative and meaningful ways, and works such as Katie Mitchell's Waves and the practice of the Builders Association are among practitioners at the forefront of finding new ways in which the context of the mediatised world we live in can blend and inform the relationship between live theatre and digital media. As the limitations of technology decrease, the possibilities for genuinely new and innovative theatre anchored in the use of digital media expand.